In 2002, acclaimed director Paul Thomas Anderson filmed several scenes in Waikiki for his art house romantic dramedy Punch Drunk Love, which starred Sandler as Barry Egan, an emotionally distressed and ill-tempered loner who grew up being constantly ridiculed by his verbally abusive and overbearing older sisters. British actress Emily Watson plays Lena Leonard, a friend of one of Barry's sisters who suddenly walks into Barry's mundane life and turns it completely upside down by being the practically perfect woman to complement his somewhat erratic behavior. And it's through her ever-growing love for Barry that starts to make him feel more comfortable in his own skin.
I have a love in my life. It makes me stronger than anything you can imagine.
It isn't easy to concisely summarize what Punch Drunk Love really is, but to simply call it a romantic comedy would be doing it a disservice. Director Paul Thomas Anderson meticulously grabs from many different cinematic influences and uses a unique blend of vibrant colors, abstract imagery, a quirky musical score, and some heavy symbolism to construct a darkly humored postmodern fairy tale romance that has inspired countless interpretations with its minimal plot and occasional spurts of unexpected surrealism. Audience interpretations of the film range from Lena being an extraterrestrial to Barry being Superman, and strangely these theories actually work if you watch the film with an open mind.
Really?
Punch Drunk Love is essentially an experimental piece that allowed Adam Sandler to step outside of his comfort zone for the first time in his career and show off a solid set of acting chops. All the while we get a small yet completely scene-stealing bad guy performance from the late great Philip Seymour Hoffman. Punch Drunk Love is drenched in loneliness and isolation, a lot of it having to do with Barry's surroundings being so plain, drab, and empty. It's the same for Lena as well. In fact, we never really get to know much about her as a character throughout the entire film, and yet it's easy to buy into Barry's love for her. What little we do know about her is that she is constantly traveling for business and lives in an apartment populated by moving boxes, so Lena seems a bit lonely herself. After Barry and Lena's first date, Lena flies to Hawaii on one of her business trips, but by now he is completely smitten by her and wants a reason to escape his own problems for a while. So on a whim, he follows her in a lighthearted sequence that really livens up the film since everything about Barry's life so far feels stressful, lonely, and gray.
I've never been on a plane before.
While the film doesn't stay in Hawaii for very long, it is the perfect visual representation of Barry and Lena's budding romance, considering how this whimsical sequence starkly contrasts everything else we see in the rest of the movie. It's also here where you start to see a drastic change in Barry's personality that wouldn't have been possible had this mysterious creature not suddenly crash-landed into his life and made him truly happy, probably for the first time in his entire life. Many of the scenes that take place in Hawaii were filmed here in Waikiki. More specifically, at Waikiki Beach's iconic Royal Hawaiian Hotel. Originally opened in 1927, the Royal Hawaiian was one of Waikiki Beach's first hotels, built on 10 acres of land once owned by King Kamehameha I, who acquired it after conquering Oahu in the late 1700s. And even though dozens of hotels have cropped up around it over the decades, its unmistakable pink color and majestic Spanish-inspired architecture is what helps it stick out from all the rest. By the time the Royal Hawaiian Hotel was built in the late 20s, the massive popularity of silent film actor Rudolph Valentino had inspired a public obsession with Spanish Moorish architecture, the basis behind the hotel's palatial design. And it seems perfectly fitting that this luxurious building would be used in a film like Punch Drunk Love, considering director Paul Thomas Anderson's affinity for old Hollywood. Once Barry arrives at the Royal Hawaiian to reunite with Lena, he stands at the main lobby entrance nervously awaiting her arrival, and when she finally appears, she sprints up a small staircase straight across the lobby, which leads out into the hotel's peaceful courtyard and fresh herb garden used by the hotel chefs. The film bursts to life as Barry and Lena run towards each other and embrace, paying no mind to the sudden flurry of activity around them. Barry and Lena bask in silhouette for some time as the beach's blazing sun naturally backlights this walkway in what feels like a scene straight out of a classic Hollywood romance. Standing in the actual walkway, you can see how the sunlight floods in from the back, making it seem like very little manipulation was done to light this particular scene, which also made for a strikingly picture-perfect movie poster. With its dark, dreamlike atmosphere, stellar acting, and off-kilter narrative structure, Punch Drunk Love is an incredibly unique, cryptic, and borderline psychotic little romantic experience that's definitely worth falling in love with. and while it does a fine job displaying one of the most stunning hotels in Waikiki, 2008's hit romantic comedy Forgetting Sarah Marshall headed up to Oahu's North Shore and checked into the gorgeous Turtle Bay Resort, another one of the island's most prominent tourist destinations.